Some folks climb the corporate ladder, others eat cereal on camera and cash six-figure checks. The world doesn't reward effort, it rewards weirdness. Take Kyle McDonald. In 2005, Kyle didn't have a house, but he did have a red paperclip. Most people would have tossed it in a drawer. Kyle decided to trade it for something better. First, he posted the paperclip online. A woman traded him a pen shaped like a fish. Why? No one knows. But Kyle wasn't done. He traded the pen for a doorknob, the doorknob for a camp stove, the stove for a generator. Then came a keg of beer. At one point, someone gave him a snowmobile. Then, in an unexpected twist, he ended up with a role in a movie. And finally, after 14 trades, someone gave him a house in a small Canadian town called Kipling, Saskatchewan. Population, cows. Kyle didn't spend $1. No loans, no bank meetings, just an internet connection and a whole lot of follow-through. It was part social experiment, part Craigslist Olympics. But it worked, and Kyle proved something important. You don't need money to buy a house. You just need one paperclip, the patience of a monk, and internet strangers with terrible judgment. Next up, a college kid made $1 million by selling pixels. Not art, not designs, just tiny colored dots on a website. In 2005, Alex, too, a 21-year-old student from England, needed money for school. Instead of getting a job, he created a website called the $1 Million Homepage. It had 1 million pixels on it, just a blank grid. He sold space on the site for $1 per pixel. Companies could buy as many pixels as they wanted and place an ad or logo there. It looked like digital graffiti. Total chaos. No one thought it would work. But people got curious. Then the media picked it up. Suddenly, companies were throwing cash at this pixel playground just to get a slice of internet history. In 5 months, Alex sold all 1 million pixels and walked away with, you guessed it, $1 million. No product, no service, just a website that looked like a 2005 fever dream. He took the internet's short attention span and monetized it. Turns out you can't sell air, but you can sell the digital equivalent. Most people stress over naming their own kids. Bo Jessup made a fortune naming other people's kids. At just 16 years old, Bo noticed something interesting while traveling in China. Wealthy Chinese parents wanted English names for their babies, but they weren't sure which names sounded good, or even normal. So Bo launched a website. Special name. Parents could input their baby's gender and a few traits, like brave, creative, or kind. Her site would then generate a name that matched those traits from a list of curated, Western-sounding options. For each name suggestion, she charged a small fee. And soon, those fees started stacking up. In just a couple of years, she'd named over 670,000 babies and made more than $400,000 doing it. She didn't invent anything. She didn't launch an app. She just solved a weird cultural gap with a little creativity and a domain name. Some people get rich building rockets. Bo got rich naming strangers' babies. Oliver. If you thought bottled water was a scam, wait until you hear this. Leo DeWatts, a British entrepreneur, made thousands of dollars by selling cans of fresh air. Not air fresheners, not oxygen tanks, just air. In 2016, Leo started a business called Ether. His pitch? The polluted cities of China were in desperate need of clean air. So he claimed to bottle fresh British countryside air from places like Somerset, Dorset, and Wales, and shipped it overseas in glass jars. Each jar sold for up to $115 for air. No filtration, no medical use, just a breath of luxury rural atmosphere for the pollution-weary elite. The business got media attention. It sparked debates. And Leo? He laughed all the way to the bank, hauling in tens of thousands from people who literally paid to breathe the English countryside. It was part novelty, part satire, part brilliant exploitation of rich people with more money than sense. In a world full of overpriced nonsense, Leo simply asked, why not sell the thing we all ignore until we can't breathe it? Meet Jared Huey, a guy who got rich from dog poop. Back in the early 2000s, Jared realized that pet owners hate cleaning up after their dogs, but they will pay someone else to do it. So he launched a business called Duty Calls. Yes, that's the actual name. It started small, just Jared and a shovel. But word spread fast. Before long, he was running a nationwide franchise cleaning up after America's canines. For profit. Homeowners, apartment complexes, even city parks hired his company to handle their waste management. And it worked. By 2022, duty calls had cleaned over 10 million yards and was generating millions in revenue annually. It's dirty work, literally. But it's also proof that you don't need a revolutionary idea to get rich. You just need to solve a problem people are too grossed out to deal with. Jared found his gold mine in something everyone else steps over, and sometimes into. Some people rent cars, some rent homes. Phil Tompkins rents chickens. Phil and his wife Jen started Rent the Chicken, a business that delivers live hens and a coop to your backyard. The idea? Let suburban families test drive the farm life before committing to raising chickens full time. It sounds like a joke, but it isn't. Each rental package comes with a coop, food, instructions, and usually 2 hens. Families get fresh eggs every day. After a few months, they can either adopt the birds or send them back, like feathery library books. Phil started the business in 2013 as a side hustle. Within a few years, it expanded to dozens of cities across the US and Canada. They now bring in hundreds of thousands of dollars a year from people who just want to borrow a chicken. It's part farming, part Airbnb, and 100% ridiculous. But hey, the egg money's real. Keith Jackson made headlines for doing what most people would call torture. He got paid to watch paint dry and turned it into a career. Keith worked for a paint company in the UK. His job? Sit in a lab and stare at painted surfaces to monitor how long it took them to dry, under different lighting, temperatures, and humidity levels. He wasn't just watching for fun. He was recording drying times down to the minute, noting textures, cracks, and inconsistencies. It was part science, part insomnia cure. But here's the kicker. Keith did this for over 30 years and was so good at it, he became one of the highest paid employees at the company. Why? Because one badly formulated can of paint could cost the company millions. Keith's eyes were the insurance policy. While most people dreamed of leaving boring desk jobs, Keith leaned in. Hard. And in the end, he quietly racked up a 6-figure salary, pension, and the strangest LinkedIn title of all time. Professional Paint Drying Observer. So let's recap. One guy traded a paperclip for a house. Another sold literal air. Someone else got rich naming babies, picking up poop, or watching paint dry. And chickens? Chickens are now a subscription service. These aren't outliers, they're proof that weird pays. That the world isn't run by logic, it's run by opportunity. And sometimes that opportunity smells like fertilizer or comes packaged in a pixel. But here's the thing. There's one story we haven't mentioned yet. A man who made millions selling something so strange, so morally questionable, it was almost banned by the government. And yet, people kept buying it. But we'll get to that next time.